Illustrator, and today we're gonna be making cake recipes.
Cake pop.
Yeah, cake pop recipes.
We are making cake pop
because a special person is turning 6 on Thursday. Who is that?
Yay! Hi, 6-year-old, almost 6-year-old. That's my kindergartner.
That is Samir Khan. And I'm Alina.
And today we're gonna make kindergartner. He's gonna be 6. All right, so we're gonna make cake pops in celebration of his birthday. We're gonna be sending cake pops to his class, and then we're gonna have a little soccer team birthday party on the weekend. So we need to make about 40 to 50 cake pops. So we thought it would be a good idea to show you guys the recipe. I know there are like more than 1,000 cake pop recipes on YouTube, but this is just how we make it, and I hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna make cake today
and vanilla.
Right, so we're gonna be making cake today, and then tomorrow we're gonna complete the rest of our recipe. All right, let's start making cake. All right, and we made it to next morning, and this is actually afternoon after school. Here is the fun part. We're gonna start crumbling up the cake to get the cake pops ready. Make sure all the cake is crumbled up nicely. You don't want any bigger chunks of the cake. And cleaning up the pan. Make sure we don't waste anything. Here I am wearing gloves and crumbling up everything. Again, making sure that no chunk left behind. That's what I'm making sure. Alright, once this is done, we're gonna get ready to put some icing in this. Not icing, frosting in this. Frosting is what's gonna keep your cake pop together. That's gonna be that's gonna make a consistency of a soft Play-Doh. Alright, now we are ready to add the frosting in there. Now, as you saw in the previous clip, I baked 2 boxes of chocolate cake. In those 2 boxes of cake, I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons. These are pretty big tablespoons, so I'm going to say 3 tablespoons of frosting. Now, it's always better to start off with less frosting and keep mixing as you go. You can always add it later, but you have to make sure that it's not too soft, the dough that we are trying to create for the cake pops. Because if the dough is too soft, then the cake ball is not going to hold on by itself. It's just going to crumble apart, and it's also not going to stick onto the cake pop stick that we're going to be adding on at the very end. Alright, I'll keep on mixing this until I see the consistency that I'm looking for. Alright, after mixing it for a few minutes, you can see that we have reached the desired consistency, which is like a soft Play-Doh. That's how I can explain it to you. This is on the video. Once it's ready, you go ahead and take any measuring spoon that you want. What I'm using here is 1 tablespoon of measuring spoon, just to make sure that all the cake balls are even. And if I need to add any more dough or if I need to make one bigger or a few bigger, then I just add more dough to that. And let's go ahead and start making the cake balls. Alright, and after a lot of patience and a lot of rolling around, we have these cake balls ready. Now, one thing I do want to mention here, notice these cracks in the cake balls. This means your cake ball is no good and it's not gonna stay together. or it's not going to be strong enough for the stick to be inserted later on. You want to make sure you have a nice smooth cake ball with no cracks in it. And you can put this in the freezer for about 5 minutes or in the fridge for about 15 minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to work on the vanilla cake pops. What you guys doing?
We're making the cake pop balls.
Step one. We're working on the vanilla ones?
Yep.
Here it is. And now comes the fun part. We will start putting the cake pops together. What you see in the bowl is not melted chocolate. It's actually candy melts that are found in the wedding cakes aisle. And the cake pop sticks that I'm using that are right next to that. Now I got all my supplies from Walmart, but you can find these supplies easily at Michael's or Target. Basically any wedding cake aisle, you should be able to find these. Alright, so I melted the candy melts, and that's the chocolate flavor that I had on hand, and then inserting the sticks about 3/4 way in. That way you can make sure that the cake pop has enough stick to hold on to. And once you put the sticks in, you have to make sure to put it upside down. That way it gets enough time to dry up. And once it's dried up, I'll show you how it's holding on to the stick. And that should be the next clip. Alright, this one is the double cake pop, or the bigger cake pop I made for Sabir, because he wanted an extra big one for his special day, and I'm using a thicker stick in that one. As you can see, I'm also trying to press it in so the stick can kind of hold on to it, but the candy melt itself is it works like a glue basically to hold on, for the cake pop to hold on. Now this one is dry, and I'm going to show you how it kind of gives it a little bit support on the bottom as well. And a little bit of candy melt that goes inside, it holds on to the cake pop pretty well. And these sticks are pretty long. You don't have to get long ones. Now I popped it in the freezer again for about 5 minutes. The sticks that I used are pretty long. You don't have to use these long sticks. I was planning to make a cake bouquet, not a cake bouquet, a cake pop bouquet, which I'll show you later on, but I ended up not doing it and wrapped it individually. Alright, this is the candy melts that I was talking about. Now Sabir requested that his cake pops be blue and red, so that's the color combination we got. This brand specifically I like a lot. It's Choco Maker, and the brand on top says Celebrate. I got mine again from Walmart. The instructions on the back say how to melt it, but basically you put it in the microwave for 30 seconds with 30 seconds increment, and then make sure the consistency is pretty thin, just like that, basically melting the candy chips. And then you're ready to coat your cake pops. Okay, so the way I coat the melted candy on the cake pops is gently rolling it in. Roll it all the way in, holding it with the cake pop stick, and then tapping off the excess with the help of a spoon. And you have to make sure that you gently tap it off. You kind of know by this point if your cake pop is holding on to the stick or not. I know mine are on it pretty well, or they're strong enough on the stick. So I'm gonna tap it off a few times because I don't like thicker candy coating on top of the cake pops. That's just my personal preference, but if you like it, you can tap off a little bit. And another thing to keep in mind here is that since your cake pop is cold and the candy melts are warm, you only have a few seconds, maybe 10 to 15 seconds before the candy starts setting on the cake pop itself. That's why I start tapping it off right away. And once you're happy with how the cake pop coating looks like, you need to be able to put it up straight so it can dry up. And for that, I'm just using a styrofoam that came out of a box. Here I just wanted to show you if you want any sprinkles or nuts or shredded coconut, anything that you want to stick to the cake pop, you need to do it on the wet chocolate. And let's go ahead and finish up the rest of the cake pops. So I ended up not doing sprinkles on the cake pops. Instead, I'm doing a piping on the cake pops, which I'll show you in a little bit. But these are frosting bags that you can find in the same aisle. And as I mentioned earlier, the colors that he wanted were red and blue. So I've melted some red candy melts and putting it in the bag. Now to cut the tip off, you have to make sure that you start off with a really tiny cut it really small in the beginning and make sure that that's the thickness of the piping that you want to do on top. That's the correct thickness. And this one looks okay, so we'll just twist the bag and start making our pattern on the cake pops. This is just the swirly design I'm doing. It's easier and faster, and honestly, after making so many cake pops, I wasn't in the mood to make any other pattern. Alright, and this is how it looks like. And again, it needs to go back to the drying station, which is my very handy styrofoam that came out of a box. Alright, and we'll wait for those to dry up. Once they are all dried up, you can store them laying flat like this. And let me show you the extra big cake pop that we made for Saber. It says Saber is 6. He was really excited to have a special one for himself. Just to give you a size comparison. Here it is, normal looking or a regular cake pop and his extra big one. While I was busy with cake pops, kids are writing on these stickers. Saber is 6 that are gonna go on top of these treat bags. These treat bags were conveniently right next to the cake pops. So that's what we decided to do. We're gonna be wrapping them individually for the classmates. And here I'm trying to finish up on the vanilla ones. Again, his colors were red and blue, and the vanilla ones are being coated with the red candy melts. And let's go ahead and finish up the rest. Alright, finally, after hours and hours of working, the final product is ready. These are chocolate and these are vanilla. And we have these bags ready, these little individual bags ready. And we're going to be packing some cake pops in here for the classmates. About 20 cake pops are going to school, and then 10 for the soccer team. And somebody is
turning 6 tomorrow. Where is he?
Whoa. Oh, that's cute. You made that, Saber? Alright, you ready to pack everything?
Yep.
Okay. This big one is mine.
Alright, after a lot of hard work and a lot of mess, here are the cake pops. All the kids were really happy to get these, and of course Saber was really excited. Now these are the cake pop bouquets that I was talking about earlier. Normally when I make cake pops for a birthday party or for a special occasion, I arrange them in a bouquet. That way they look more presentable, and it's just a really nice touch to have it on the dessert table. And obviously they're all edible. Anyway, these are the ones I made for my niece's engagement. You can be creative with any color combination that you like, really any color scheme that you have. Now to make a vase, you just need a not too tall of a vase, I would say, just a medium height vase, because when you start arranging the cake pop, it becomes pretty big pretty quickly. On the bottom of the vase, I normally put some crystal beads, some decorative beads. In the middle, you see styrofoam piece. And around the styrofoam piece, I arrange some tissues and then insert it in the vase before I start arranging the cake pops. Now, once you have that ready, you can be as creative as you want and arrange it just as you would like a regular flower bouquet. This was my first recipe, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know what you would like to see next. And thank you so much for watching.